Hi everyone, this is lesson 38 and it's fractions and mixed numbers on a number line. This again is a really, really important life skill to be able to understand and really most importantly to read fractions and mixed numbers on a number line. Many of you know that I just moved and we're doing a lot of work at the house we moved into, and one of the things we're doing right now is putting new baseboard and trim around my daughter's room. So that's exciting. But one thing, really important math skill, is to be able to measure. So measuring that baseboard and trim and being able to measure very, very accurately in an effort not to make any mistakes, especially right now when the lumber market is quite expensive. So measuring and reading and being able to read things on a number line, which ultimately is like a ruler or any form of measurement, really great life skill to have. So, learning targets for today: locate and name fractions and mixed numbers on a number line, and compare fractions on a number line. So, using that visual to compare which is greater or less. This is straight out of your textbook and put right onto these slides. Usually I think that stuff is too wordy, it's too much to look at, but I really liked how this broke this down into 3 steps. They're very specific and they lead you right to your answer. So when you're reading number lines, here are the 3 steps that you need to take into consideration. We're reading fractions and mixed numbers. So mixed numbers meaning there's a whole number part and a fraction part. Reading a fraction on a number line means that it falls somewhere before the 1. There isn't one whole yet. So both applicable. One happens before the 1. So here are the 3 steps. Step number 1, find the whole number distance from 0 up to but not past the point to be named. This is the whole number part of your answer. So for example, if we were looking at A, the first step is to find the whole number distance from 0. So I'm going to start at 0 and find the whole number that happens before, but not past, this would be past, before the decimal we're talking about. So in this case, the whole number part for A is 1. Let's look at step number 2. Count the number of sections. You know what? I'm just going to pause really quick and write in I'm going to write a 1 there, make it a little bit bigger. Write a 1, that's our whole number part. Step 2, count the number of sections between whole numbers. This number is the denominator of the fraction. So we're building a mixed number here. A mixed number, of course, has a whole number part and a fraction part. So they're saying I'm going to count the sections between whole numbers. This is the denominator of the fraction. Count the sections. So the section meaning between number 1 and number 2. I have 1 section. Well, they say number of sections, so let's not look at the lines. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 sections. Another way to think about this, if you're in the habit of counting the lines or the tallies like I am, that's how we do it in measurement. We don't count the sections. You would say 1, 2, and then 3. This part's a little bit weird. Your third one is always your next whole number. We have 1, 2, 3. Either way, we've determined that in this mixed number, our denominator is 3. Let's look at step number 3. Then count the number of sections past the whole number to the point being named. This is the numerator of the fraction. So basically, where is your dot? Where are you looking at? And it's 1. It's 1 tally, 1 space out of the 3. So 1. A represents 1 1/3 in this case. Let's just take a look at this one right here, for an extra little quick practice. The first thing is to determine the whole number that happens before what's marked. So looking here, our whole number part would be 3. Building our fractional part, how many sections? Well, we've already determined that that's 3. And then 1, 2. All right, so let's take a look at another example. Here we go. We have A, B, C, and D. Name the fraction or mixed number on this number line. Pause this video and give this a try. Hopefully you have a piece of paper and pencil in front of you. Jot these down and do a mental check-in with yourself. Unpause your video when you're ready to check my work. We'll see how accurate you were. All right, so starting off, I'm looking at A right here. I can see that the point A falls before a first counting number. So this A right here is not actually going to be a mixed number at all. It's just going to be a fraction. So I'm going to just set up my fraction. The first thing I need to do then, which going back to those previous slides, it was step 2, count the number of sections between the whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. This number line right here is broken into 4 sections or fourths. So my denominator is 4. That did not turn out well. Let's try that again. 4. Okay. And then to determine my numerator, I just find out which spot my A is on, and it is that first line. So A represents 1/4 on this number line. Let's look at B. Well, B does actually fall after a counting number. This is going to be a mixed number now. So count all the way up to, but not after, the point you're looking for. So the whole number part for B is 1. Get ready to build my fraction. Again, same number line, so I remember that this is broken into 4 sections. My denominator is 4. And then let's determine what our numerator is. Where does B fall? We have 1, 2, 3. It's really important to lock in your brain. You do not start counting right here at this one. This right here represents 1. So you don't start right on the number you're on. You start here within, like after the first section. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 would be that next counting number. Let's move on and look at C. I'm just going to write that right next to it on the left side. We're going to assume that, well, some of the stuff you do just have to kind of assume. I'm going to move my camera here. We have a number line here. This arrow determines that it began before what we can see, and it continues after what we can see. But based on basic counting information, we know that the whole number that comes before 6 is 5. And if you need a visual representation of that, just write it in. So when we're finding out what the whole number part is for this right here, we can see the 6, but that happens after the C. So I know that the whole number represented by C needs to be the whole number that comes before 6, which is 5. Let's get ready to set up our fraction. Now this is different than this number line. This number line is a different one than this, so we're just going to go in and count our sections to determine our new denominator. So we have here 1 section, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 5, but since I don't have a solid counting number over here, I'm going to double check right here between 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we verified. Our denominator is in fact 5. Now let's find out what point C is. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something's not right there. Let me count this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this line actually represents our 5. This represents our 5 here. Something kind of wasn't right there. So 1, 2, oops, I didn't mean to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. C is represented by 4. So 5 and 4/5 is C. Last but not least, let's do D. I'm going to move this out of the way again. D. So first thing, our whole number part of our mixed number is the whole number that comes before the point we're looking for. So in this case, D is represented by 6 as our whole number part. Get ready to set up our fraction. This is the same number line, so we know that there are 5 sections between each whole number on this number line. And then we start our first, space or first section after the whole number. So we have 1. The D is represented by 1/5, 6 and 1/5. One more thing to review really quickly before we're done today. Just comparing two different fractions on a number line. So this example here does that. Rashawn walked 2/3 of a mile. Denise walked 3/4 of a mile. Who walked farther? So We have the visual example right in front of us. I'm not even going to ask you to pause your video. I just want to point something out. Here we show two number lines. On one number line, we show the fraction 2/3, which represents where Sean's walking. And then on the other, we have 3/4, which represents Denise's walking. Refer to these number lines to compare the fractions 2/3 and 3/4. So because these number lines are the same, we can easily see that 2/3 is right here, 3/4 is right here, 3/4 is closer to 1, 3/4 is bigger, 3/4 is farther to the right. So 3/4 is greater than 2/3. We would read this answer as less than.